I'm Zoe.
Hi, and I'm Ben again.
And this is Penny in the Landline.
Episode 2.
Episode
We came
2!
back.
Thank you to everyone who listened to our first episode. So pleased. We had such fun feedback. So many people, so many of our friends watched it or listened to it, I must say. So thank you. Thank you for listening to it.
We had a good amount of people listening to the
I
first
know,
one. And
it's quite sweet.
it's very nice. So here we are for round 2, and we are going to keep it going as long as we have got the will to do it.
Yes. I must apologize in advance. I have a little bit of a cold, so if I don't make sense, I'll blame it on that.
And I'm recording from my bed because I don't have a desk, so I do everything from my bed, like Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka.
I was
just
just
lie
about
here.
to say, I don't have a desk either, so in my head I'm just imagining both of us sitting like the Willy Wonka grandparents. Alright,
Yeah.
well, if you haven't listened to our first episode, I'll explain how our podcast works. So Ben and I, each week will bring a secret topic to discuss to each episode, and we will discuss it at length. And surprise each other with our fun takes.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's hit the nail on the head. I feel like this week I'm going to try and be a little bit lighter on my one.
Yeah.
I think I liked my topic last week. I think reading is a fun topic, but it's I was very serious last week. I was listening back to it and I was like, I was in my philosophical, poignant era, and I'm feeling neither philosophical nor poignant today. So
I was gonna
you're in
say,
luck.
I was kind of thinking I'm not feeling as academic as I did last week. I'm not feeling that. So if you came for that, sorry, you're getting silly mode only.
Right, go on, please. You start with your topic. What are you discussing today? What is your random topic?
Yes, so I had another topic planned, and then I changed my mind last minute to make it more topical. Because, as I announced, I'm sick. I have a cold. So what I want to talk about is about being sick. And just in general about, I think I had two main questions. One question is, let's say you get a cold. And let's say you don't have work. You don't have any responsibilities. What do you spend the day doing? What is like the thing you do for comfort? What is your ultimate, tastiest, most sweet, wholesome way to take care of yourself? And the second one is you do have work, you have things to do. What is the fast track way of getting yourself up and running even if you feel absolutely awful? So let's go through the first one first.
Oh, this is so interesting. Okay. Well, firstly, if I have nothing to do and I'm ill, then thank God, because when you're ill and you have things to do, it is the worst thing in the entire world. So, but what I would normally do, I message everybody I know to tell them I'm unwell, because I like to make sure that everybody knows that I am vaguely suffering, so I can get the maximum level of attention for my circumstances. Normally, if I'm ill with nothing to do, I'll just sit around at home for days at a time without doing anything to make me feel better.
Right.
And then normally someone in my life will be like, oh, you should probably do something about that. And then I'm like, oh yeah.
And what do you do? Do you sleep? Do you eat good food? What do you do, Ben?
What do? I don't eat really any better than I normally do.
Great.
But if anything, I eat worse. But what I do is I am a cold and flu tablet stan. I love that. I love a cold and flu scenario. I mean, pop one of those, the ones with the caffeine in them. I feel better than I felt before I was ill. Like, I love them. When I had the flu, like a year ago, I had to beg the pharmacist to give me bad vibes. I had to beg the therapist to give me paracetamol and codeine because they thought that I was going to become addicted to it. But I was like, look, I need what I need. I must have looked very pathetic. So yeah, I'm a very bad ill person. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm very harsh on people when they are ill. I'm like, get a grip. And then I get ill and I am literally pathetic. Like I am genuinely an embarrassment to everyone around me. What do you do? What do you do when you're ill? I feel like you're more practical than I am. I think I'm just really pathetic when I'm ill.
Yeah, I think I kind of had to learn a little bit because I was very lucky when I was younger. My parents were very sweet to me when I was ill. I'd often probably stay home maybe an extra day than necessary before going back to school, because there's always that point in the illness where you know you can work, but you're like, oh, just one more day. So I think I had to kind of switch my brain, and I think that definitely happened maybe like 2 years ago, where I was like, I need to actually learn how to like heal in case I can't just spend 5 days in bed because that's not what's happening. And the big turning point for me was when I got this horrific ear infection that lasted a month and a half long back in it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
It was horrible. It was
I remember.
Yeah, it was that when you were talking about sending text to everyone you knew, that was my thing where I needed everyone to know how horrible. I mean, it was rough. It went from one ear and then went to the other one, and I would just wake up at like 5 a.m. in immeasurable pain. I would be doing gua sha exercises. There was this video of this man who was like, this is how you drain your lymph nodes. And I remember like in the light of like 5 in the morning, I remember being like, this man, I am in love with him. He's helping me out, because I was delusional and crazy.
Right.
Because he was helping me out with my, this American man online was helping me out with my lymph nodes. And that was rough, and luckily, again, it was during the summer, so I didn't have much to do, but I was all by myself in this house. No one was there. I did have a friend come and drop me off soup at some point, or some noodles, so thank you, Kate. And it was, I mean, that was rough. I was just eating raw garlic, like, we were in it.
You sound like you do the right things, because, I mean, I am so bad for this stuff, like, I do not look after myself. The only thing that I do, I'm very medicine oriented. I feel like you're more like health food oriented.
Well,
I just immediately jump on the chemicals. Like, I put my face over a boiling bowl of like albus oil and a tea towel on my head. Is the kind of thing I go
is
for.
that I do both, because I think that drugs can should be used. So I'm kind of like, I will slam like lemsips and then also drink, black pepper ginger turmeric tea. Like, I will combine like, the ancient herbalism rituals as well as modern medicine, because that's how can't go without it.
Well, can we have a moment of silence for night sweats? I think night sweats are actually God's way of punishing us. I think there's literally nothing worse that I can think of. That sounds so dramatic, but I don't care. That is like the most disgusting, vile, unpleasant thing in the entire world, for your body to be like, oh, it's 4 a.m. and you are naked and you are soaked, and you must now turn over all your pillows and lie on like a towel or something. Night sweats, bad vibes.
I can't really remember in recent memory where I've gone night sweats, because I think based on our friendship, you've gotten the flu really badly. So in my head, I'm like, yes. you are the flu man. And meanwhile, you're the flu man, and I've had more like bizarrely acute, again, like this ear infection thing that was like horrific. So in my head, I'm like, nothing could be worse than an ear infection.
Because no, I mean, honestly though, like, it is, your ears are so. Oh, God. Yeah, I completely get you. Yeah, I just remember, so frustrating.
I walked up that horrible hill to go up to the student service, and I remember being like, if I can walk up this by myself while my ears are exploding, then I can do it anytime. So that's kind of what I learned from them. And then since then, I've kind of like been able to condense my colds to about 4 days long, by just slamming ginger tea, passing out as much as I can when I'm not working, and then usually it kind of works out. And lots of vegetables and loads of paracetamol. So that's where I'm at. Because yesterday, for example, I had a horrible sore throat. Now that bitch is gone, and it's because I had loads of spicy food and ginger tea and lemsip. So that's where I'm at.
Love.
And I guess, the second part of the question is...
What was your second question?
That it was I think we kind of covered it already, but it's kind of like... The first part of the question was ideal comfort situation. Second part is have to hoist myself up by my bootstraps and go to work, do the things I need to get done.
Well, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
I think that's, I have so many mixed opinions on this kind of subject. Last year when I had the flu, I just kept going to work because I was like, well, I need to make money.
Yeah.
And which is very bleak, obviously. But I kept going to work when I was really ill, and I just wasn't getting any better. The question is, do you hoist yourself up when you have to go to work? Actually, just don't do that. Stay at home, because you will never get better if you go to work. You just won't get better. You will only get worse. You have to stay home when you're ill. That's why I insist upon.
I mean, I went to work ill the other day, and it wasn't recommended because I just got really sick the day after, and I was like, I have to go, and then I don't know, sometimes you have to, but sometimes it is well,
it is so toxic because it has a massive dependency on your work environment as well.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's when I worked last year at the escape room. My boss was super slay and didn't mind that I was ill. She was like, fair, go home. Which is a human response to illness. But a lot of bosses are so caught up in their workplace that they literally make you feel bad. When I used to work at an undisclosed coffee location, my manager used to tell everyone about other people's illnesses. Used to run around and make it a topic of discussion, so you'd always be nervous to call in sick. When the reality is if you're ill, your health should just come first. Because in what world should you burn yourself out for a company that doesn't care whether you live or die anyway?
And this is the thing as well, I don't know how much better it's gotten, but I think COVID has definitely helped in some aspect, because back then if you were sick, they were do not come in even if you don't have COVID. They were it was much more, obviously, because, COVID was happening and stuff, but there was kind of a more understanding of, maybe it is better for people to get better and then be more effective at work later, or maybe remote jobs are possible, or maybe you don't have to come in to have, this meeting and you can just rest and then catch up on the meeting later. But I still have some, remnant of, I remember I was doing, for one of my placements last year, I was deputy stage managing, which is big boy job. But, even though we had book cover and things like that, people were always if you're sick, just because you have one of the quote unquote important jobs, there will be someone to cover you, especially in an education environment. Even despite that, I remember being I can't get sick. I would just get into this spiral of I have to stay healthy. And luckily I actually didn't get sick at all during that project, but still that attitude isn't ideal, because it's no, people can't actually work around, we can figure it out. If someone's missing, we can work around it. It's all good.
Well, that's the thing. There is that element, I think. Our generation, as Gen Z, are kind of there is this kind of notion that, we don't want to work, we're lazy, yada yada yada, which I think in some instances obviously is the case. We also just have a lot more respect for ourselves.
Yeah,
and I think because of the internet, the internet obviously has our bodies. The internet has a lot to do with that as well, because we can communicate more effectively and everyone's able to kind of get a better insight into everyone else's lives. But I don't want to make myself ill for work. It's terrible. You just don't recover. Like I said earlier, my flu last year, which was awful, lasted 3 weeks, most of February, when it could have been done in a week. It could have been done in a week if I just taken that time off instead of kept going and going.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Because then you're more likely to get other people sick, and then, you can get, long-lasting issues from it and things like that. And it's I think people don't understand that rest can make you will just become more effective later on when you're would you rather have someone who's just barely working for 3 weeks, or someone who's not in and then working at their best for 2 weeks? I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. So rest up.
But we do it to ourselves, don't we? We
exactly.
Do it to ourselves.
Drink that soup and take those painkillers. Just do it.
So real. Yeah, you're so right.
exactly. So shall we move on to your topic?
Yes. So mine is so silly. So mine is considerably less discussion based.
Okay.
More just but I'm just more. I feel so okay. So I have been thinking a little bit about this individual. Mine's a person.
Okay.
Because this is what I felt like. That's what I've been thinking about, and because never in the world has a character existed that is so simultaneously mundane and non-problematic, but also just absolutely infuriating, but then simultaneously like very talented and does deserve their pedestal, but also just really is really, really annoying. But I don't really know why they're annoying. So this person I'm talking about is Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. Yes, I
Anne
do
Hathaway.
know. I do know who that is. I am definitely not looking up who that is. Oh,
Okay,
Anne Hathaway.
you know who Anne Hathaway is.
Yes,
Anne Hathaway of the Princess Diaries.
yes.
Anne Hathaway of the Princess Diaries.
Well,
that this girlie.
Ben, what have you done? I've invited her next week to our podcast, and now we're slandering her. What is wrong with you?
I have a publicist on the emails right now, and they are not happy.
She's not happy with me having to type her name up into my MacBook.
Oh, not at all. I mean, this lady has worked too hard to have you Googling her.
Mm-hmm. Well, go on. What did you have to say about her?
I have so much to say about her that, like, her career. Okay, let's start on her career. Okay, I've done many different lanes to go down about Anne Hathaway. Her career is so weird, like just completely wacky. Like, she has gone from like pedigree, blockbuster, top tier performances. You know, Brokeback Mountain. She was doing the Les Miserables, blah 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 blah. That she was doing.
Yes.
She was doing The Dark Knight Rises, and she played that sexy Catwoman. She was in The Devil Wears Prada.
Of course. Yes, yeah,
like,
of course.
Alice in Wonderland, that awful Tim Burton one where everyone was like made of like computer screens.
Yes,
wacky.
Yeah.
And then obviously she played
Hoodwinked.
that blue. Oh, sorry, yeah, Hoodwinked. 2006's Hoodwinked.
2005. 2005.
Oh, 2005. I'm sorry, 2005's Hoodwinked. In the same category as Brokeback Mountain, the same year as Brokeback Mountain. Bear in mind, can you imagine that being in your schedule? Being like, okay, sorry, I have to. I'm gonna go to Brokeback Mountain on Monday, and then I'm gonna pop into the recording studio to do make Hoodwinked. I think in the description for this episode, I'm gonna link the Wikipedia page for Hoodwinked, and if you haven't seen, because that movie is so baffling. But that's just what Anne's like. Anne is unpredictable.
So I know we're talking about Anne Hathaway, but I do need to talk about Hoodwinked real quick because
go into Hoodwinked.
So I never watched Hoodwinked, but back in the day when I was but a wee child, when DVD shops, DVD borrowing stores used to exist where you would go and borrow DVDs, there used to be the like adult section, which was all like the sexy and horror movies, and I used to be like like really scared of it, and I for some reason always like Hoodwinked, I thought in my brain was part of that section. I don't know if it was displayed near it or something, but in my mind I was like, that's a scary movie and I'm not allowed to watch it. So and then of course now people are talking about it like it's an iconic, crazy, like bonkers film, and I really regret that I wasn't on it. I was too scared to watch it. So yeah, that's my Hoodwinked memory.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid. It's one of those films. It's very much in the same kind of lane as, you know, Shrek and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's not good. Like, it's the animation is unbelievably terrible.
Horrible.
Like, so awful. But yeah, Anne Hathaway was in that. Anne Hathaway took the paycheck.
Yeah.
But like, as I would too, I wouldn't say no. But
yeah,
I
fair enough.
think it's just Anne Hathaway is absolutely baffling, just because her career is so weird.
And she was in Rio as well, which I think you were talking about before. She was that bird, sexy bird.
She was the bird in Rio. But the thing is, Anne Hathaway. Let's dig a bit deeper in. So Anne Hathaway not the wife of Shakespeare, the actress.
Yeah, yes, I know.
The lady has an Oscar for Les Miserables.
Okay.
Which is reasonable, I think. I don't really know. I don't really have an opinion on that. But congratulations, Anne. And she also got nominated for some film called Rachel Getting Married. And my friend Rachel got married last year. And I kept thinking about that movie all the time. The entire time. And that movie is about an alcoholic. And my friend Rachel is not an alcoholic. Hi, Rachel. You slay. But, anywho.
Hi, Rachel.
But she was nominated for an Oscar for that. And so she's double Oscar nominated, one-time winner.
Okay.
She was in all these massive hits. But also, I absolutely hate her. But I also, and my hatred of her, she's such a good actress. Like, everything she's in is really good. Like, well, that's not true. She's in a lot of bad movies, but she never gives a bad performance, except for that one time in that film, One Day. Have you heard of the film called One Day?
I've never seen it.
She plays a British person and is not qualified. It is a very bad accent. Her career is just really wild. Like, she recently made a whole collection of movies that no one saw. She's kind of dropped off. And then what also made me think of her was that she was in that awful remake of The Witches that came out on like Amazon.
Yeah.
Very jarring. I don't know. People really don't like her because apparently she tries too hard. But I think she's a great actor, but also really annoys me. So please tell me your opinion.
This is this is really going to cement our public image as two friends who are very different, because you're very much the person who knows everything about this, and I'm the one who's going, who was she in The Greatest Showman? I'm looking at her Wikipedia.
She wasn't in The Greatest Showman.
Why is it showing up then? Why is it saying that she's in it?
Anne Hathaway was not in the great. That can't
what?
be. No. What on earth is going on?
Maybe they're talking about the Shakespeare's wife.
Oh, the role was written for Anne Hathaway, but she didn't take it.
Oh, who Zendaya's role or who? Which one?
Oh no, I
didn't like that
Rebecca Ferguson.
Okay,
but it's an awful film. Awful, rotten, terrible film.
I hate The Greatest Showman.
Poo film. Awful. And going back to Miss Hathaway.
Yeah. She was in Enchanted, which I also never seen. Brokeback Mountain. She was in that, and she was she was the Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Wife. She was Jake Gyllenhaal's wife, and she was giving homophobia, but she was giving slaying homophobia. Do you know, like, it was like she was like she would call people up on her landline and take her earring out and say like really vile things to people. You know, that kind of... She was horrible, but you kind of loved her, you know?
She was in Passenger. I didn't see that. This is just a list of movies I haven't seen, and then Rio. And then Rio 2. And then also, I did see The Princess Diaries way too late in my life. And she's from a country called Genova, which a lot of people think is where I'm from. Genovia.
I could go about this all day, but I want to also separate the career Anne Hathaway to the personal life Anne Hathaway, because this girlie, little do people know about Anne Hathaway. You look at Anne Hathaway and you think, what could Anne Hathaway possibly be involved in with the IRS? Well, I'll have you know, Anne Hathaway from 2004 to 2008 was in a relationship with a man who was an Italian man. I don't want to mispronounce his name.
I'm reading this.
Yes, she was in a relationship with an Italian man, and he was apparently running a foundation for getting like poor people vaccinated, and turns out he was actually embezzling like millions and millions of dollars through the IRS, and posed as the Vatican's like real estate agent or something completely wacky like that, like a little Pink Panther style villain. She was engaged to this man, and like she broke up with him, and luckily wasn't indicted. He went to prison for 4.5 years, and she was so stressed from the whole ordeal that she started smoking. And that is my story. I cannot believe that Anne Hathaway, America's sweetheart, was potentially involved in defrauding the IRS.
Well, it's okay. She became a vegan in early 2012, but she quit in 2014.
Well, you know what? That's so real. Like that's good for her.
Yeah, and she also supports. I was about to say supports guns. She supports gun control.
She supports guns.
She's
Anne also
activism.
loves the gays, apparently.
Yeah, she says she doesn't like homophobia or school bullying. So
well, you know what? That's thank you. Anne.
She's gorgeous and she's doing her activism, and I don't very much know much else about that her, but I'm glad we're speaking about her.
What also made me think of her was that she's in that new movie Eileen. Not Jolene. Eileen.
Come on, Eileen.
Come on, Eileen. Exactly.
There we go.
She did a movie called Eileen, which is based on a book by Otissim Misfega, which is apparently a sleigh book. Ooh. And the movie comes out this Christmas, and apparently it's like a big role for her. And I hope that she can like get back on her pedestal, because Anne Hathaway is a talent, but also another side piece. I'm sorry, this goes on for a while.
That's okay.
Another side piece is that she is now like a late in life model. Yeah. I say late in life. She's like 40. What person do you know what actor becomes a model at 40? True. She's all of a sudden like walking down runways. I mean, slay. I guess she just said to her publicist, I want to be hot now. And they're like, okay.
And she was in Les Miserables, which I also actually haven't watched that movie.
Well,
sorry,
I mean,
spoiler alert.
I actually think, I'm not even kidding, I think because I'm a masochist, I did have the DVD, and I think I fast forwarded just to watch her scene, because I know that she dies, and I love it when people die on screen, because I'm very dramatic and I love to feel the feeling. So I think I literally just watched her scene so I could watch her die. She was in Interstellar as well.
Yeah, she was in that.
But I also think, have you seen Interstellar?
No, I don't believe in
space.
Yeah, I don't believe in space. Timothy Chalamet was in Interstellar.
Yes, he was. He was Matthew McConaughey's little son.
Oh, Timothy Chalamet. Willy Wonka himself.
Willy Wonka was in space, yeah. But well, actually, no, he never went to space. But
she was also in The Cat Returns. She saves a cat, and the cat comes back. The cat returns,
yeah.
And then she becomes a cat, and she sees the world of the cats. And I saw it for the first time a couple years ago. Not the best Studio Ghibli movie. Sorry, Studio Ghibli fans, but it is pretty cute. So she's in that too, which is some really good news. So Interstellar, Hoodwinked, The Cat Returns, Les Miserables,
and The Devil Wears Prada,
with Meryl Streep.
Gone over. I mean, Meryl Streep. As much as I do love Anne, I can also have a moment for the fact that everyone in that movie seems crap in comparison to Meryl. Meryl is giving so hard.
I have actually seen this movie. I know I've not seen any movies as proven in the past 5 minutes. I have seen this one, but the whole middle part of the movie, don't remember what happens in it, but slay. It's a slay movie. I just don't remember what happens in it. Her career, so interesting. And I wouldn't have ever looked her up on my own. So thank you for bringing this to the table, because I could have gone my whole life never typing in the words Anne Hathaway into my Google search. But now I have. So thank you. Thank you, Ben.
I think I love her. I think this podcast has taught me that I think I love her. I thought I hated her, but now I think I love her.
Okay, so I've got her on the line. I've got her agent on the line. We can get her back on next week. We
great.
Unslandered her, so we're all good. Yeah. She does want us not to mention that she was in Hoodwink, though, but that's too late.
Okay.
Because we're live on air, obviously. Can't edit that out. So.
Well, obviously this is live, and we can't edit anything out.
No.
Sorry, Anne, but I mean, look, I think it's actually more depressing. Okay, it's very niche. Hoodwinked only cost $8 million, so that girl probably got paid like pennies. Isn't that bleak?
Yeah, upsetting.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, on that bleak hoodwinked note, you've been hoodwinked.
Yeah.
Is that a line in the film? Don't know. Didn't see it.
Probably.
This was wonderful. Let us know. We were trying to make this episode a little bit longer than our last one. Please leave us feedback. As you know, as we asked last week, we'd love to hear your opinions. We will take feedback about if our structure works or if the length works. If you want it to be more academic like last week, or more silly and whimsical like this week, let us know. I'll see you next week, Ben, and I'll see you next week, audience.
I will see everyone next week.
Thank you so much for joining.
Goodbye.